It speaks for itself about what I was attempting to do. But anyway, go ahead.
All right. Well, everybody, I got Judge Joe Brown on the line today. I want to talk about some of the headlines I've been seeing the judge appear in today. First, right off bat, I want to talk about the Harriet Tubman comment that I guess many people are so shocked that the judge made pertaining to why did they choose her over men to put on that $20 bill.
Well, guess what? First off, the question is who chose her?
Correct.
It wasn't black people. It was about 10, 15 years ago. I overheard on many occasions the white feminists out in LA, particularly in the movie industry and television industry, they wanted to pick a woman to be on a bill. First, they were talking about whites, and they were talking about the backlash Susan B. Anthony got. And then they had this bright idea that they developed of let's pick a black woman. That will cause a wedge to be driven between black men and black women. It will further put black men in their proper place. And let's see who we can get. It didn't make any difference. So amongst other things, they passed over Sojourner Truth. She would have been a good black woman for that. She was a suffragette. She was an abolitionist. She escaped from slavery. She spoke on female enfranchisement. You would have thought they would have gone that way, but they wanted to make a movie to push her, and that was also part of the thing. This was 10, 12 years ago. So Harriet Tubman has a more interesting movie situation than, say, Sojourner Truth.
I see.
And they were talking about having a white woman play it. I heard that too.
You know,
and that's come out that the director of the newest Harriet Tubman movie said the Hollywood exec said it's been so long ago nobody will remember it. So I remember when they started printing articles in the press out there about 6, 7 years ago about Harriet Tubman on a $20 bill to replace Andrew Jackson. Jackson's a racist. Tubman is a nice woman, but brave black woman. But here's the problem. For 400 years, the status of black people has been defined not by black men, but by black women. And that was a methodology of enslavement to do that because it seemed everywhere else in the world that counted, or all throughout history that counted, the status of an ethnic group, a race, or a nation was determined by the status of its men. An example would be, if you think of Japan and whether you want to mess with Japan, do you get the image of a samurai, Bushido, Banzai charge, or kamikaze attack, or do you think of Japan as a geisha?
No, you think of it as the warriors.
Yeah, exactly. So they want to pick a woman instead of a warrior. You have all of these black men who have won the Congressional Medal of Honor in battle, a lot of whom have died. You have, well, A. Mark Vesey, free carpenter in the Orleans, Carolinas rather, who tried to leave a slave revolt until some of the slaves turned him in. You've got Nat Turner. You've got Crispus Attucks, who is acknowledged by all parties concerned to be the first person to die in the American Revolution. He was a Boston stevedore. So you can't put the first man that started the death toll, the long death toll of America being what it is, you can't put him on a bill. Harriet Tubman didn't shoot anybody, brave as she may have been. She didn't die. And you also pass over the magnificent Frederick Douglass, who is the person that helped kick off the abolitionist movement. He escaped from slavery, jacked up a bunch of slave catchers, killed a few, it seems, though that's not popular history. He actually was one of the founders for the Republican Party, which I find intriguing. He galvanized the abolitionary movement, dealt with John Brown, popularized him. He was a writer, proficient writer. And even the white folks said Frederick Douglass was one of the main causes of the Civil War. That was contemporaneous with that time period. He went and isolated Europe so that it would not provide armaments to the South during the Civil War. That helped. He organized the 54th Massachusetts Infantry, in which volunteer colored infantry, in which his son served and died. He basically pushed Lincoln to do the Emancipation Proclamation after they became friends. He was one of the people who was an impetus behind the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments. I mean, this was Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, W.E.B. Du Bois, all rolled into one. He was an activist. He was on the ground. He fought. He killed. He almost died. He wrote prolifically, so we overlook him. Then, of course, you go to Thurgood Marshall. Millions of Americans owe the end of segregation to him, and he was a magnificent justice on the U.S. Supreme Court. Let's see, and then there's Martin Luther King. I don't think they would approve Malcolm X, and Marcus Garvey, and W.E.B. Du Bois, and all of these brothers, these warriors got passed over. You know, that's it's insulting to the black race. And interestingly enough, I was trying to generate dialogue, which it did on Twitter, even though it didn't get around as much as it should have, because Twitter shadow blocks. And I've run some tests and I found they do it on me because they don't want a straight black man who has got a reasoned position to get out there. Now, I've been picking up followers steadily, but I don't have a blue check. You can find me at Judge Joe Brown TV, at Judge Joe Brown TV, and I don't have a blue check. You can read what I put out there. I've got another campaign I had going, which is the old one, protecting womanhood and promoting manhood. So I've got a pledge going out there that I'm asking all of the men to agree to pledge to the ultimate degree to protect women and children. And also another one about contributing to the next generation. So, I mean, this anti-woman thing is crazy.
It is crazy. The best thing you ever said was, you know, a lot of us have this punk mentality that, oh, Judge, I don't see the light at the end of my tunnel, so I'm just going to hurt and destroy the women and children instead of making a way.
Well, that's not what I'm doing. And the other thing is, it wasn't a diss on Harriet Tubman. It's just, you know, I'm 72 years old, right?
Right.
I don't feel that way. I get around, still dance and jog 2 miles every other day, so I'm not bad at all. But the problem is that I was thinking, man, you know, one thing, I wasn't even concerned about getting a black president. I was just saying, you know, symbolically, this is the coin of the world now, the American dollar.
Right.
And what if do you think they'll ever get a black man on a dollar bill for America? And we used to discuss this when I was in college, and people said, well, you know, we don't have any dead presidents. I said, but what about Ben Franklin? He was never a president. You've got some other non-presidents on large American bills. You know, it goes and steps all the way up to a $500,000 bill.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I've never seen one of those, but I've heard they exist. So where is it? And if they've got the rules, which is you appropriate the bill for men, you know, then why change the rules when black men get on deck? It's finally our turn. You got to change it.
Exactly.
And then I was with a think tank in D.C. way back 50 years ago. I was an intern, and one of my things was I had to do research on what they call the slave pamphlets that were on microfilm in the Library of Congress. And over and over and over again, 150 years worth of pamphlets. They said the thing to do is always to down black folk, black men, and never deal with a black man and always deal with a black woman. So I was fast forward in that respect. I was dealing with somebody's in-law, right?
Right.
So I was talking to somebody's father-in-law, and the father-in-law's brother, he's now dead. The father-in-law should be right at night. So the father-in-law's brother was telling the story of how he went to visit his grandmother, his grandmother came in, and he and his mother went to visit the grandmother, right?
Right.
So what happened was he had been there about a week. I think he was 6 or 7 years old, maybe 8. And he said there was a pounding on the door. Before his grandfather could get up, this white man stormed in with 2 shotgun-armed folk and said he was the new owner of the sharecropping facility. All right? So he announced in no nice terms that he didn't deal with no ends, and if any knock on the door come, boy, you send your wife to the door. I ain't dealing with your BA, whatever. And he says his grandfather was highly offended. So what happened is they came back again. The door was knocked on. It was just a regular announcement. So Granddad opened the door. Well, they beat him, and they told him, didn't we tell you, don't you answer your damn door? Talking about your wife gonna do that. So he got a tooth knocked out. And the brother of the father-in-law said he kept the tooth for a long time. Well, the third time this happened, what they did was they knocked the granddaddy down, slapped the grandmother around, and they grabbed the uncle's mother. They stripped her naked and raped her right there in front of him. And that's the witness is her son.
Oh my God.
And 9 months later, the father-in-law pops out. So I listened to that, and that was that same kind of thing. Basically what it was is we don't deal with no end men. Your women gonna stand for you, and you know that you ain't got no damn power on this plantation. You just gonna take it whether you like it or not. So I looked at that and I said, a lot of black folks today don't even realize what's behind this. They never would deal with black men directly. White men would always come down and deal with the old gray-haired black women, but never with the gray-haired black men. It was just a thing to keep the black man down and disenfranchised and to mess with his morale.
Right.
So I'm looking at this and I said, we don't even know how this selection got made. Somebody wanted to say it's Obama. I said, well, he didn't make it. He just seconded it with a few weeks left in this sorry administration. And he's not even fit to do it because guess what? He is not an American descendant of slavery.
Correct.
So he just presumed like he did to go do one of these little front things. So he pushes Tubman. But what about Rosa Parks? What about
September Clark?
Yeah, what about Sojourner Truth, Mary McLeod Bethune, this whole thing? What about all of these people? And then don't forget, we've got a number of other considerations going in here, which is when you disregard all these other people and you put somebody up like that, you got another precedent, which is who do they name parks after and who do they make statues of? It's the generals that survived the campaign.
Yes.
They don't name or put up statues for privates who did not die heroically. They put up statues honoring all of the privates and foot soldiers, but they don't do it the other way. So here we have all of our black dead generals bills that disregard it, and they take did not die in combat, brave lady, and they put her on the bill, and all of these black men who did stuff for millions of black folk who were known around the world on the money. And when I go to another country and I pull out the most common currency, a $20 bill, which is good anywhere in the world, you can exchange it. And it's got a black woman on there, and I'm thinking that these white folk overseas or even these Africans, what is wrong with you? You do not have a black man. Why do you got one of your women on the currency? That is because you are not warriors. You do not fight for your freedom. What can you say? So I wanted this to be brought out, and I wanted it to be discussed. So it created a furor, and there were all of those people, see where you came in, where they bought into this white supremacist nonsense, where they were talking about black men and nothing but dogs anyway. They don't need to be on. They don't do nothing but rape black women, and they knock them up and don't take care of the babies, and they don't do this, they don't do that. And it's like, what is wrong with you? Yes. But I found something interesting about the dialogue. It was running 8 or 9 to 1 or 2 in favor, not of having her on there, but of favor of having a black man on there. And this was from the women, not the men. You know, just about all of the men were in favor, but you have these people that if you went to their site, they had rainbow flags on you, you know. So.
Yeah. And we know what that's on code for. We know what that's code for. Taste the rainbow.
Yeah, Skittles tasting the rainbow. I've been in that battle.
Yes, you did, sir. I still chuckle on that.
Let's go to this other thing. Milk Yogurt, Malik Yoba in the Breakfast Club. I challenged them on it. I told them I'd kick their ass. Plain and simple. Show up. Let's go someplace neutral, and I'll take on all of you one time or one at a time. And if you want to know what that's about, when you record, go on YouTube, and they have it always on YouTube. Freeze frame it. You'll see in the back where it shows behind every guest, there is a rainbow flag. It's a prop. So that's where it's going. Nothing wrong with those guys if they want to do that rainbow Skittles thing, but I mean, you know, that ain't the rest of us.
But the way he tried to worm it, Judge, you know, when he wasn't around, you know, Judge, he should come here and sit here and talk to us on the show, blah, blah, blah. And he's trying to make it like you're all hiding out down there, you know, down south.
No, they want you to pay your way to New York and pay your hotel accommodations like the hell. I don't need these clowns. They're kind of revolutionary in my terms.
And that reminds me, you know, I was talking to you before we came online that I was a confidential informant sent me a video of Jason Black, the Black Authority, and on his show, he even went so far to say that he would put up the airline ticket for you, the hotel, but not because your money's not right. He acknowledges that, but he said because he wanted to see you destroy and crush these worms that poison.
We need a form. See, they'll just try to cut your mic off and talk over you. They don't know how to debate like men. They talk like girls, and girls just want to argue and talk over everybody, and nothing gets anything done. And we need somebody to moderate it so it's a debate. Right. I'll clean the floor with them. And then the other thing is one of these clowns, what's his name, Charlamagne.
Oh yeah, the god as he calls himself.
Well, you know, why do you want to name yourself after a French king? You know, like think about that. And he's got all this bling around his neck, and he's throwing the N-word around. You know, no self-respect, no understanding, and I take it he must. I don't know, it's his business, but it seems like to me he swings the other way.
Charlamagne the drag. That is sad.
And that woman on there, she's so deep off into that L word stuff, and she just slows everything down. I don't think she's got any wits to begin with. She just sits there, and they might have a point going, and she just jumps in and says something absolutely inane and slows it down. And that other guy, he came all the way out the closet. So I mean, we need a platform. That's what she's, and we're not getting it. They want to bring all these black people in, and the people come in, sit down, and they don't realize that in the camera view there's a rainbow flag you can see right behind it.
You know, the thing is, Judge, when we look at that story that you told us about the grandpa and the white men that beat him down and broke his tooth, they would approve the Breakfast Club because they represent all the negative bullshit that they want to say to us, but they know they better not because they'll get the wig split. But they can send in the Charlamagne and the crew and the whole peanut gallery to say these self-derogatory society and nation building concepts. They put them out here, you know, having us call each other derogatory words, look at each other all crazy, when in essence, we need to unite with one another to build a solid foundation of function, not based upon dysfunction, where the man is the head of this thing. There's nothing wrong with that, and every other society does it.
Yeah, and see, here's the other thing, too. We have a situation where there are really no straight black men who have airtime anymore.
True.
Where they can say something. So you have to understand when you see black men or black males on TV that's gay and the gay agenda is being pushed. Well, that's more power to the gays, but these folk have opted to identify as gay rather than as black. Instead of down ADOS, they're identified as Skittles.
Right.
Wanting you to taste the rainbow.
Whether you want to or not.
Yeah, see, that's not right. I mean, that's their business, but that's not corrupt all these children.
But we have to, Judge. You know, 2 men can't have no baby. 2 women can't have no baby. So where do we refill our ranks? It's your child. It's your grandbaby. That's where they refill the ranks at.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and more things too. Hollywood is a cesspool. And in some places in that cesspool are deeper than the others, and they're the sums. I worked for Paramount CBS for 15 years, and I know how bad they both are. They're properties of Viacom.
Right.
In all of my 72 years, Hollywood was the most racist place I'd ever worked. And that's what black folk just dote on. And right now, we've got a bunch of them, G. Diddy, Byron Allen, and all of this bunch. And they even got Al Sharpton in it because you have to understand that Byron Allen sued Al Sharpton along with Comcast. CBS is financing him and put him up to it. That's their legal staff, not his, working on this. And what the bottom line is that they pay these people, they aren't millionaires. I know what they make. Hell, I was supposed to be the second highest paid person in television behind Judy. So I know what the big money is. They weren't getting it. They aren't getting it. Byron Allen doesn't have it. As a matter of fact, he was trying to work out a cell-phone deal with me, and the problem was that, guess what? He didn't have any money to make it happen. So CBS was behind him, and CBS tried to set me up through him. So I have an animus against the guy. But I'll confess that. Now, P. Diddy is upset because he's saying Comcast is throwing his name around to say we have blacks because he's complaining that they cut him out of some markets. Yeah, they do that. They do that to me, too. I'm on Bounce TV 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. Now, this was a #1 and #2 show in America, but they want to limit it to black markets, even though a lot of white folks watch it. Why? Because that cuts down on my residual income, and CBS is 2 years behind on paying it off.
Oh.
So CBS, you see, appeals to the millennials and Generation X. And millennials and Generation X aren't too much strongly behind Trump and Fox is, right?
Right.
See, the truth of the matter is that because, and I know this because of a contract I had saying I was supposed to get 40% of the unadjusted gross for the show. They had to show me where everything came from and why. And CBS has an agreement with Fox. They can't go on cable without going through Fox and paying Fox. Are you there?
Yeah.
They need Byron Allen to get an independent foot in the door so they can get on Comcast. Now, Comcast has TV1, which was founded by a black woman. It's got OWN that was founded by a black woman. It's got some content from B. Diddy, which he's responsible for. It's got Bounce, which is something founded by former Ambassador Andrew Young and Martin Luther King III. So there is a lot of black content on Comcast, but not enough, and they manipulate it, which is what they do any damn way. They did it to me for 15 years because, like, for example, everybody knows Dr. Phil is big. Everybody knows that Ellen DeGeneres is big. Everybody knows that Oprah was big. Everybody knows that Judy was big. But they liked me, but they didn't know where I was because they wouldn't let them know. The truth of the matter is for the last 4 years the show ran in its 15-year cycle, I beat Oprah and Phil every week. And I beat Judy part of the year. And every time I started doing that, CBS would exercise this option with Nielsen. They do the ratings so that they would artificially boost her above me. So I'm running #2 show in America. How would black folk have felt that they knew a straight black man trying to convey wisdom, not foolishness, not bug dancing, not telling jokes, not reading a script, was the #2 show in the country? Not judge show in the country. But they didn't want us to know that because that would have gotten everybody sticking their chest out. And instead of dealing with Oprah, I mean, bless her, she does all this stuff to down black men. That's been her thing for years.
Her niche.
Her niche, yeah. And, you know, they would have said, we got a brother up there. Yeah, you know, hey. But they didn't do that because they didn't want to. They kept telling me, Judge, why don't you just get satisfied with being #3 or 4? Why are you trying to do this? Can't you just pull back a little bit? Why in the hell I want to let Oprah beat me? Why in the hell I want to let Bill beat me? No, I want to be #1.
Exactly.
It should be the same rating schedule, which is if anybody takes the show in the house, they get double ratings. When you do that for Judy, but you don't do it for me. I'm in LA. CBS owned all of the billboards in LA, all the major ones. That's one of their side businesses. They wouldn't put me on a billboard. They wouldn't give me any advertisement like they did Judy, Oprah, and Phil. They wouldn't even put me in LA's TV guide, for goodness sakes.
That's one of the biggest markets in the country.
Second biggest in the country. They wouldn't put me in it.
Suppression. That should be a grounds for a great lawsuit.
Well, it's too late now, but the bottom line was something happened to my lawyer. He had always beat CBS / Paramount. He was working on the case, and all of a sudden he disappeared. Nobody saw him anymore in his office. Family hadn't seen him, and nobody's heard from him for about 4 years.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's that serious.
Yeah.
You know, from the chat room, they are just yelling at me right now. They want to know, ask Judge Joe Brown, has he ever met Jason Black in person?
Yeah.
There it is.
Good brother.
I guess they want to know about him. They want to know what type of person.
He's a good brother. You know what we did when he came by my house? And we hung out all day long. And we went outside and washed cars.
Wash cars?
Yeah, and he doesn't like to be on camera, so he stays obscure. He won't even show up for his own premieres because he doesn't want that PR. He just says, I'm trying to do stuff for black folks, so, you know, hey, and he did this great thing called Race War. And by the way, he didn't come up with the title. You know who came up with the title?
Who?
The white supremacist who organized that thing in Charlottesville. He came up with the title Race War.
Wow.
See, that lets you know he was trying to bring our attention to this fact. Hey, he's smoking serious. So white people who are off into this supremacy stuff are calling it a race war.
Well, it's
And
very
we run
one-sided.
around bling instead of bang, you know, and we're all off into who's doing this. And then look at what we do have on television that occupies our attention. Atlanta Housewives. That is some of the filthiest, most despicable stuff going since they've had soap operas.
True.
Okay. You've got Empire, and that switched into a gay pride advertisement thing. And what's the point of looking at it? And then they've got Bounce, and that's just straight up and down with a bunch of trannies running around. So, I mean, what's the point?
They're trying, Judge, to make the desire of the men more focused on running behind a woman, or worse, running behind a man in a subservient role.
Okay, now, let's take something to give a comparable, so people get this in their ears. Harriet Tubman, what's on TV, the whole thing. Let's say that they were going to have Homemaker of the Year. Or let's say America was going to honor its homemakers. All right?
Right.
You pick a bunch of white women is outstanding housewives and homemakers, right?
Right.
For black folk, they pick a stay-at-home house husband or drone. Now, see, that's what you're talking about. They have these drone creatures, these dysfunctionals who have no job and live off their women. Gigolo action, I call it. But would it be proper, instead of putting a black woman on as outstanding American homemaker, to put a stay-at-home houseboy?
I don't think that would get too many ratings. People will find that distasteful, Judge.
Yeah, but what about why all of the negative reaction when I said consider? Yeah, I said it. See, that was off of something they pulled piecemeal off of my radio show. It isn't anything I wrote. I said, you guys said it. They were trying to quote it in this article. See, some got all upset, big furor about why did I say this? Well, the same people that got upset about that would have been screaming bloody murder if they had an American Homemaker series that was all white for the first black person they kicked the stay-at-home dude. See how it works? There are some, but you see where we go with this?
We're going to a place that's not cool. Dysfunctionville, here we come.
And that's what I was asking. How did this happen? Do you even know? You see, it's not so much whether or not Harriet Tubman or Sojourner Truth might not have been fit for a bill, but you put a black man on there first there, and you put a white woman on there.
And then it's going like that. But is it not true? I mean, it's so obvious. You're pointing it out. You're painting this picture, black and white, and you're showing us these angles, and people still aren't getting it. They're like, no, Judge is just misogynistic. True. No, women are powerful and strong. Blah blah blah. How come it's like we have these mental blockers on?
Let me explain that. If you got to defend the family unit and die doing it if necessary, you get to call the shots as to when you do it, don't you?
Right.
That's why. Now, also, there's this other little thing that I think exemplifies where we have strayed to these days. We got a Titanic situation. The ship's going down. Women and children in the lifeboat first, right?
Right.
If the men are willing to sacrifice themselves for the ladies and the children, don't you think that requires a little deference?
A little bit, you would hope.
Now, let's get to the next point I'm making with this exemplar, okay? Women and children in the lifeboat first. That includes trannies who claim to be girls?
No, sir. No.
Put their ass in the rear and throw them to the sharks when it gets too deep so they get fed over there instead of coming with the rest of the folks.
Right. But now, I just want to be clear. A little PC, though. Trannies and all of them are welcome, but after all the women and children are on that damn boat.
and out is the men because they aren't going to enforce women and children in the boat first. See, I saw it. There was a thing down in New Orleans. It was the music fest they used to have down there. So I was married at the time, and we took a shuttle over from the hotel to the festival. So we hung out with Magic Johnson for a while, and his wife, we know him. At the festival, he got up and sang with Patti LaBelle. You know, she didn't know it was him back there, but he sang behind her. Anyway, we did this thing. So we're coming out, and we're waiting on the shuttle. So my wife gets on. I'm looking in the bus. There's one seat left on this bus. Okay, so all the women are saying, Judge, come on in, take the seat. So as I was coming in, two women ran up, and I said, oh, no, she's gone, ladies. Don't go and sit next to your wife. Oh, no, I got a whole train to get on there. So I'm debating with these women as to who's going to get on. I'm insisting they get on. Two of these other type walk up. Oh, my God. Well, you can just go out and hell with it. You're going to be getting on. So I grabbed one up by the collar and yanked it back off of the bus steps, threw them on the wall. It's like, the hell you're going to get on this bus before these women as long as I'm standing here. Right. So sisters got on, and nigga said, Judge, come on in here. Have your wife sit on your lap. And we just leave in. Say, sister, do you mind if one of us sits on his other knee? So I had my wife on one knee and the other one on the other. Next time we got the seat and left them standing.
Now that's like a Santa Claus situation. I endorse. But see, what you did there was make a real life consequence for them stepping out of order. As your presence, because if you was not there, they would have shishayed by the women, probably bullied a woman out of her seat, and went on about their little merry way.
Yeah, I know. And see, that isn't done. Women and children in the lifeboat first, and you can't get in that lifeboat claiming you're a woman when you're not, because you don't have periods every month. You don't go through what women go through being pregnant for 9 months, go through the pain of the delivery, suckling the babe, doing the mama thing if they're doing it right. See, you can't do that. You can't claim to be a woman and you don't pay the dues.
Right.
You're a man and you got a penis. You're supposed to be out there with a shield in one hand, spear in the other, and a helmet or a sword somewhere around about you in a battle axe doing what you got to do.
Yes. If you don't
choose to do that, and you don't have the other equipment, you need a fish and a fowl, and we don't be amphibians, because that's not what we are. We're primate mammals. They can do what they want to do. It's their right to do that under the Constitution. They have the right. But the thing about rights are funny. Sometimes you can have a right to do something, but you don't do it because it's not in good taste and it's not what you ought to do.
Correct.
Exercising a right when you shouldn't do it becomes license. I got a standing ovation with about 300 people in the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers out on the West Coast when I spoke to them one time, and I said, your motto, be all you can be, is an error. They were looking at me, I said, because you can be a damn fool, you can be a coward, you can be a whole lot of things. The motto ought to be all you ought to be. Right. The motto should be all you ought to be. I got a standing ovation. Colonel had to come in and tell them to sit down.
Well, that's what happens when people hear the truth and wisdom. It gets them fired up. It gets them to want to be righteous and change their behavior. Because this is what we're ultimately talking about. Changing the trajectory of our mental state of being. And we can't do that glued to the television with all these paid clowns putting all these thoughts and desires in our heads that we act on out in the streets.
Now, another thing, in politics and in governance and in diplomatic relationships with other nation states, you do what? You form alliances, right?
Correct.
In about 35 years, America will no longer be a majority white country. The Mexicans, or the Hispanics rather, will be the largest single minority group. They're already the majority in California and getting there in Nevada and Arizona, and New Mexico. So the handwriting's on the wall. But let's see. The main thing I'm beginning to think about these days is, yes, there's racism. There's a whole lot of it, but that's not our worst problem. If you're going to fight racism or do anything constructively, you have to have the fundamental human unit solidly in place. And that is, most humans are supposed to be in a family.
Correct.
A traditional family. If you don't have the family, ain't a damn thing going to happen except chaos. So the white people are in this same thing too. This is an opportunity for black folk to have an uneasy alliance with the white folk to restore the traditional family. And when I say that, we are not the only ones who are suffering. See, we are biotic. For all races and ethnicities in the United States combined, in 2010, the census they did then revealed that 42% of all Americans 35 and under were born out of wedlock. You know, they got an old joke, once a bastard, always a bastard you can overcome. William the Bastard, Duke of Normandy, became William I Conqueror and King of England. So you can achieve. It's not crippling, but it's just a situation.
Correct.
That's what's in the history book. So we find if 42% of the Americans 35 and under are born out of wedlock, and that includes white people too. And then we get into this statistic, 82% of Americans 20 and under are born out of wedlock. Something is going wrong with the family. We've got a situation now where we've got more boy virgins 25 and under than we have girl virgins. They're having more sex than the boy. Interesting. We have another thing where for the first decade of this century, and it's been sustained in the 7 years they have statistics since, on average, only 28% of each year's high school graduates are boys. And that includes white people in that mix too. Only 32% of the college undergrads are boys, men, and only 36% of the grad students are men, and most tragically, only 44% of the workforce is male. So also they've got some sea changes, which a lot of the feminists don't want to address, and that's this. The saw is women are supposed to be paid the same for the same job, right?
Right.
Well, guess what? 35 and under, women are now paid significantly more than men for the same job.
Wow.
Now, get this. This has been going on for the last 50 years. Take your daughter to work week. When have they ever had take your son to work?
Exactly. I can't remember.
They have never had one. So you see, it was supposed to be remedial for the girls, but they have done so many things like, no more first, second, and third place.
Right.
Everybody gets a participation.
Everybody wins, Judge. Everybody's a winner.
Yeah, but you can't do that because that's not the case in real life.
Sure isn't.
All right. Nobody gets elected in junior high and elementary school for class president because somebody may be upset if they don't win. So the teachers pick everybody to get a term. Okay, next thing, let's say even the white folk are getting deprived on this one. Back to the Future. McFly Sr. is bullied badly by this man. His son goes back in time, finds him in high school, teaches him how to stand up to the bully, and when he returns to the present, the bully is now a flunky for the dead.
Yes. I'm washing his car.
Now what you have is let the teachers take care of it. It's police is supposed to take care of it. It's the parents to stop this horrible bullying. And they're bullying people online. How the hell are you going to bully somebody talking about them? We used to have a recreation. It's called running the dust. Hey, man, I don't say nothing, man. But, man, I respect your mama, but I just want to say, man, you could, man. I don't want to say nothing. But last night, man, look, I had to hold my nose, man. You could tell her to wash up more, man. I don't want to say nothing. Man, your mama's so big, man. She can't get in a bathtub with 2 drops of water, man. That's why she never get clean and she stinks so bad. See, that's how we used to have our recreation during downtime.
Oh, yeah. That'd be
These
hate
folks want to go
speech.
kill each other behind this. And by the way, not being able to handle a bully, not being able to do this with no effective fathers around, they get emotional. They don't know how to control themselves, and they go shoot up hallways. And we got a problem because we got the same thing in our matriarchal inner city, but they shoot the hoods up all the time. It's called a drive-by.
Yes.
No manhood, man. I used to get young guys on the stand. Would you please explain to the court, young man, why you didn't just have a fist fight? Yo, judge, with due respect, look at me. I'm fat. All my ladies like my smooth face. I ain't letting nobody put no scars on my face.
That's like they're vain. They're just straight vain. I'm pretty, Judge. I'm pretty. That's why
I mean, and that was 25 years ago, 30 years ago. I mean, it's hopeless now. And half this stuff, yeah, man, you down for the cause, man. I'm 24, I'm 23, ain't gonna see 24, man. You know what it means. And, you know, what's going on is it's suicide. It's not really bravery. The concept is you don't have the nerve to put a pistol to your own head, so you provoke somebody into doing you the favor of taking your life. Hey, man, what you looking at, man? I ain't looking at anything. Man, you call me a lie, man? I see you looking at me. I'm waiting for the bus man to get to my job. I ain't got no J.O.D. food. I got my hoes take care of me. Why you looking at me, man? Man, I'm not looking at you. You called me a lie. Don't watch this shit, man. Watch it, man. Watch it. Hey, man, you know, like it's me and you, man. You called me a lie, man. Why don't you back off, man? See, this guy's about to get, somebody's about to die.
Right.
About some foolishness. Or the other one I saw all the time. George, did you hear about poor Alan? No, what happened? Oh my God, you know he's been so depressed. Yes, I noticed that. My God, he jumped off of the 28th floor of his father's office building. Oh my God, he was just talking about there was no purpose in life. Oh my God. And then you get, hell, man, you get my stomp, man. Oh man, whatever. We was over Sugar Dad, man. And we was hitting that glass dick, man. It was some foul smoke, man. Next thing we know, man, he got out on the ground, man. Spit come on out his mouth. Heels kicking, man. Eyes just rolled up top of his head, man. We cleaned shit up, man. Called 911, man. But they got there too late, man. Buzzed his heart out when we got to the emergency room. I hope the mama don't freak out. That's the second one she done lost this year. See, drugs claimed another victim in downtown Walla Walla today. Police were alerted by residents of a foul odor emanating from an apartment discovered the body of who apparently died of an overdose about a week earlier. See, it ain't drugs. They ain't trying to get high. They're trying to die.
Right. Trying to escape reality because they feel powerless and hopeless.
You got to give boys a continuous purpose from the time they're a year and a half old. You got to say, act like a man, be a nice little man, be mama's little man, be daddy's little man, be daddy's young man, etc., and keep telling him that. So when he grows up, he's got this manhood thing cemented into his subconscious. He can't look in a mirror in the morning, shave, brush his teeth, or comb his hair without thinking that I act like a man. That's the control factor. You don't need the police for peace in the neighborhood when you have men like that. Right. They impose their own form of order. Okay? Yep. Now, you get a situation where you don't put that in, they get emotional and kill stuff. But you got to put manhood in these boys so they behave like one. And if you got manhood in the boy, you don't hear this stuff when he gets to be man's age. It actually becomes a man instead of just being of age to be a man, but not functioning as one. You never hear him, I'm 23, you know, man, I ain't got no daylight at the end of my tunnel, like you were just saying. It's like you don't have daylight at the end of the tunnel, but too damn bad. Your job is to get the people you're obligated to through that damn tunnel. And if you can't see to the end of the tunnel, because of the smoke and flame, you got to kill the fire-breathing Gila monsters that are making it like that.
Yes.
And that's your job, and feel proud to die if you did it. But you see, we don't think that way. We're suicidal. All this man material going to waste because nobody trained. This stuff makes me ill. I said, man, all these sacrifices. And honest, I'm not trying to down Generation X or the millennials, but it's gone down here.
Yes.
And if you want to see one of the causes, they got Eddie Murphy, who jacked up Rudy Ray Moore, just did him treacherously. When they were doing that Dolomite thing, he came up with the idea. Now he's dead, they have Dolomite. You know how they have advertised?
How?
Come see a traditional blaxploitation movie.
Wow, traditional black.
That's in the ads.
Wow.
And see, what they had was 50 years ago, black folk were ashamed of themselves 55 years ago, 54 years ago. But they came up with this self-help thing called I'm Black and I'm Proud.
Say it loud.
And say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. And James Bond Brown didn't invent it, he co-opted it. So we had that, and then they started coming up with blaxploitation, and instead of talking about love and this, that, and the other, I got a job, get in the kitchen, make those pots and pans, go shake, rattle, and roll, ain't got time to deal with your hoodlum friends outside, etc., etc. Got lots of money because I just got paid. But oh, I wish I had somebody to talk to. That's 50s, you know. Then you got into Smokey and the Miracles, Temptations, you know, stuff Marvin Gaye wrote about love and reality and life. And then you got the bitches, hoes, and grams and all that other stuff.
Right. Even so far today, Judge, you got rappers basically like a gangster / homosexual rap. They'll talk about how they go down on dudes, but they can shoot you with the gun in their purse.
Oh, yeah. And then there was one that I went to this function with a woman out on the West Coast. Her daughter, 24, beautiful, 6'1", fashion model type. She was doing a thing for Anheuser-Busch, and it was in a nightclub at 90210 in the Beverly Hills Shopping Center right there, Rodeo and Camden, and between Santa Monica and Wilson. So we're in this big, huge club, and we're looking around. They got the lesbians dancing with each other over there, and they're kissing on each other. They got the gay boys over here dancing together. They're feeling on each other's butts. They have, we assume, the straight guys walking around in a pack of 6 or 7 or 8 at the time, looking straight ahead, shoulders hunched over, not looking at the girls who were straight walking around, half naked, having to put their boobs back in the tops because they're popping out. And everybody's going, wow. And then the song that everybody kept requesting had the lyrics in there. All my bitches eat pussy. All my bitches is hoe. Don't have no hoe. Don't eat no pussy. All my hoes eat pussy. I mean, what in the world is wrong with you? Excuse the language. Bleep that out if you got to.
Beep.
But, you know, the bottom line is what's happened. So one of the women that was with this group, you know, where their daughters were in this fashion show, went over and said, honey, why are you running your fingers through this girl's hair? Are you a lesbian? She said, oh, no. I said, well, why are you doing that? Well, that's how we meet each other. What? And I asked one of the young brothers, I said, man, why don't you guys talk to these ladies up in here running around with everything hanging out? No, see, it's like we ain't going to get trapped up in no game. See, if she going to talk to me, she going to call me. She come over and ask me. I said, has anybody come up? No, that's the law. I said, that's why you ain't getting laid, boo.
Wow.
And what is the statistic? There are more boy virgins 25 and under than girl virgins.
See, this is a perversion of that whole red pill philosophy, I think. I mean, like, a lot of guys have gotten a bad, you know, they get into a marriage. The woman was no good in the beginning. He builds himself up. She divorces him and takes half his shit. So a lot of young dudes are drawing off of that experience, but that's not the norm.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me tell you what the new game is. They've got gay boys, Skittles crowd, that tell affluent black women that they are rich, right?
Right.
They have a rich boyfriend that they live with, so it's a big house. And they take the girl over there, and she's strange, she's tempted. And he starts showing her an HIV test that he took 3 weeks ago, which, you know, some of the gays do it, they're proven, so it comes back clean. Tells her he's had a vasectomy. So she goes in and has unprotected sex with him. He's lying to her. He gets her knocked up. She gets pregnant. He's telling her he's gonna marry her. So as soon as she delivers, he immediately files for custody and for child support. Turns out to be broke, and all this money belongs to his boyfriend. So the game is to get the black woman to be paying, one of them I know pays $3,180 a month child support.
What?
You know, so they get the child support, they and their boyfriends giggle and laugh. That's the new game around the country. Sisters beware.
Wow. See, I ain't heard that game.
Places, by the way, where you do not want to get, if you're in Atlanta, is Cobb County. They've got 1 or 2 white female guardians ad litem that always side with the white guy over the sister, so that's not too cool. Cobb County, Atlanta. Cobb County encompasses some of the suburbs of Atlanta. So just beware of that situation. Be careful what you do.
Yeah, and just don't be having. I always stress this. I'm pro people having babies, or I'm pro procreation, but I'm totally anti indiscriminate sex. I mean, that's just a bad idea right off tip. It's just a bad idea.
First, okay, wisely.
Yes.
That's what they need to do. Choose wisely.
Yes. Vet.
But now I've warned you. That's a little game that's spreading around the country. And if you're in Atlanta, Cobb County is one of the worst places.
But if things go like that, then what Andrew Yang is saying is true. The black community will be dispossessed of all physical wealth by the year, 2050?
It might be. And by the way, I want reparations. I think I'm entitled to them. My families go way back beyond that 1865 border. But honestly, I think people are wrong when they start saying we can't get it together until we get reparations, or we need reparations before we can get together. Then I won't give you that much money if you do get them. And white folk are lined up to get it away from them. And if you're talking about we're going to get land, then you got to deal with property taxes to sustain it.
Yep.
If you're talking about a crop, you got to deal with selling the crop because you can't self-sustain. Nobody in the world can now. Subsistence farming went out with the last, it's been 3,000 or 4,000 years since that was a viable proposition. So you got to deal with commerce and trade. And what you really need is not buying you some land. Buy that, but make sure it's inside the city and it's got rental potential.
Right. It has access to utilities.
Is put that money away so you can get tutors for, stay on your kids' behinds, and make sure they get the grades, kindergarten through 12th grade, so they can get into college, take up STEM, STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, and invent something like they did with the Silicon Valley.com revolution.
Right.
Because right now, all of these other things are glutted. And you fail in the face of the economies of scales where you've got mega corporate entities that run everything. That Walmart ran the white businesses out.
They sure did.
Is consolidated with a bunch of stuff all around the country. You've got this thing where and then the neighborhood corner groceries are going out of style. Unless it's someplace where the mob influences them being there, then you got to pay that off. So get into science, technology, engineering, and math and come up with something new where the market is not glutted. That's the only way we're going to deal with getting ourselves together, because in order to get together, in order to get to the top in this world now, and for the last 200 years, you had to have the advanced technology.
Yes.
They had to invent something and create a new market for that thing.
Yes, that's
so we
brilliant.
don't have that because we don't focus on it.
No, we focus on latest hairstyle, latest booty shorts, you know, the important stuff.
Well, I'll tell you what else. If you go, speaking of Comcast, if you go on there, the Science Channel, the Smithsonian Channel, they've got a bunch of black scientists on there that look like they're ordinary folk on the streets. Young people, rocket scientists, astrophysicists, geophysicists, graduate chemical engineer. You know, you've got all these people and they're young, black. Some of the girls look hot.
And
but
smart.
you never see them getting any daylight. Who is it we put out there? They've got one guy named Lucy, and he talks like, acts like, looks like one of the brothers on the street. Like, man, if you go on this place and grab and pull you down, man, nobody be able to stand up and say, well, maybe me and LeBron, man, we can handle it, but you know, hey, it's kind of heavy. You know, he talks like that. So did you see him pushed? He's a rocket scientist for NASA, a senior one. But you don't see him get pushed.
Now, that's the type of person I would love to have on my show.
And by the way, you remember that Hidden Figures thing about the black women that were mathematicians for NASA?
Right.
They're contemporaneous with me. I remember when they came to light back in the 60s. They were micro-minute wearing, afro wearing boxes.
Yes.
And look how they portrayed them in the movie.
Always his story, never the real story.
Yeah. And Harriet Tubman, the movie, they got a black man, the main villain, he's a slave catcher. The rest of the black men are despicable, abominable cowards. And the white plantation owners, they have to maintain their economic institution of slavery, but they understand, so it's no hard feelings, and they make them more reasonable than the black men. It's crazy.
It is. It's just like that one, the Black Pussy or Panther movie, where you had Killmonger being the arch venom, you know, the arch enemy, and the little CIA guy gets the medical treatment. Now there was a bunch of black folks that were shot up in the little fight scenes. Now they could have got some medical treatment, but no.
Wait. Speaking of the fight scenes, who was fighting who? The women of the tribe were in violent, real war with the men of the tribe.
Yes.
And who did they call in? Some black folk from the outside. But did you see where those black folk were living? This is Africa. They had them living in the snow in caves. And what's the implication? Cave men.
Yes, they did. They're up there in the damn snow.
And his bodyguards, were those his bodyguards or were those his keepers? Because they kept nagging him all the time, walking in all looking like him and a hoe on each arm. His mother ran the kingdom and his aunt backed her up, and they had one dude with all that plate in his mouth and everything, and those huge plates in his ears with that lime green suit and orange tie and all looking like something out of a basket of Robert's ice cream plates.
Tutti fruity.
Went into the markets, you didn't see any black men doing anything in the market, and when they had the scenes for the ceremony, the black men are up on the cliff and the black women are down there gathered around. When they had to fight, the women give Killmonger, whatever his name is, running around in the black tanks. They gave him a drug to make him super strength. The Killmonger still kicked his ass. And then they betrayed him. They betrayed the rules. They committed treason to go start a shooting, slashing, stabbing, cutting war. You know, using black men coming out of some cave up in the snow in Africa. And then they gave all that technology away. And you know how Marvel always does that thing after the movie's over, halfway through the credits, they have a little extra.
Yeah.
And this guy stands up and says, excuse me, why should the rest of us be interested in what a bunch of ignorant farmers is talking about they're going to offer us? And everybody can keep it away from these folks. And then he's the king, and he's supposed to be running around in some tights, dealing with playing vigilante with some crazy white folk. And Killmonger, who is the villain, is literally quoting Marcus Garvey, W.E.B. Du Bois, Malcolm X, H. Rap Brown, Stokely Carmichael, some stuff from King and some stuff from Huey P. Newton, and Eldridge Cleveland. And they got him as the villain. And then he does say that thing, just toss me over the boat so I can join my ancestors who had basically the gumption to jump off and drown and feed themselves to the sharks rather than be slaves.
Right.
And see, you made him the villain.
Yeah. You're not supposed to aspire to that.
Is rooting for these women to try and kill their own men. And by the way, the actor for that is also the same one that played Jackie Robinson. He's also the one that played Thurgood Marshall. He's also the one that played the Egyptian god of wisdom in Gods of Egypt, which, by the way, was a pretty good exposition on the ancient Egyptian pantheon. But guess what?
What's that?
That character was a flamer.
What?
A flamer. And guess what? He played Thurgood Marshall. Guess what's wrong with that? Thurgood Marshall is high, bright, high, yellow, don't look anything like it. The closest thing I can think of, why did they get this guy that's supposed to be head of this family and empire to play? He actually kind of looks like Thurgood Marshall.
Yeah.
Okay. Jackie Robinson, that's a stretch. The Black Panther, yeah, but check it out. You see what they're doing, the LGBT is plotting on us. You know what it is?
What?
You get the audience to identify with the actor so they see the actor is gay. They see him as an athlete. They see him as socially conscious and a scholar. They see him, etc. And what does that deal with? Fluid gender.
Oh.
And where else do we get fluid gender? I use the term androgynous. Who did they commonly speak of as being androgynous nowadays? That was into allegations of pedophilia, who got under that umbrella, black umbrella in the rain, and they played it over and over at the time. See, with me, I'm a full-grown man in my 50s. When I heard it, and all these young people that were 4, 5, 6 years old don't believe it, he was saying, what's wrong with a man being naked in the bed with a 10-year-old boy who's not wanting his relatives to show love? That's pedophilia.
Yeah.
See, pedophile, androgynous, running around with those tight pants that you see everybody wearing, not everybody, but some people wearing now where it looks like old women stretch pedal pushers. And, black, but he tried to convert himself to being white. He made a zombie out of himself because they had to amputate his nose because it got necrotic with all those surgeries, trying to change from looking like a chocolate young black kid to looking like a Pokemon cartoon character out of Japanese anime, with that pointed little funny looking nose.
Little elf nose.
And then it became a prosthesis, looked better because they had to cut it off. Looking like a zombie with all these operations to give himself a broad cleft chin, high cheekbones, and every few months he'd have his scalp peeled back so they could thread thick Polynesian hair from the inside out. That's why he was sleeping up in that oxygen tent they used to talk about. See, fluid gender, androgynous, self-hating, you can be something better than being black.
Something better than being self. It's like you told those young boys, Judge, when you wake up in the mirror, you need to look in the mirror and ask yourself, are you doing what you know you need to do today? You need to police yourself and take care of your business because no one will for you.
And the other thing, I don't personally care what gay folk do in their bedroom. That's their damn business. You want to get your freak on, get it on. I don't care. What I do want is if you got a swinging dick, gay or otherwise, act like a man otherwise about your responsibilities. But you know what the real problem is with what the rainbow Well, the Skittles Rainbow Bunch is doing?
What?
They have turned the clock back for the whole country, and they are into self-hate like black folk were into in the 50s and early 60s. They claim to have black pride, but they walk around with their butt cheeks out on a pair of leather tats and their dicks hanging around looking like cartoon characters. And they hate what they are, and they hate what they want to be. And that's what they're spreading, this self-hatred thing.
Destruction and oblivion.
Because guess what they don't have? They do not have the tomorrow.
Wow, yes, they do not have tomorrow in any way, shape, or form.
We got enough problems. Yo, man, I can't see no daylight at the end of my tunnel, man. I'm 23. I ain't gonna be no 24, man. I ain't gonna make it, man. Same thing.
He just gave the chat room, Sister Kathy, solutions, more and more solutions. The problems, what to do about it. And the judge just told us, woman, raise your baby boy to be a man.
Well, let me give you a hint. Ladies, if you're out there all by yourself and you have a son, from the earliest day, it can be too late to start, but you need to try. Keep addressing him as man over and over. That's mommy's good young man. That's mommy's little man. Son, act like a man. Son, men don't do this. Men don't do that. Son, men do this. Son, do what a man will do. And then I remember my dad getting it on me, and you got to do it too if you're by yourself. Come here, boy. Grab your ankle. Grab your knees. Look at that wall. You're getting 10. Oh, you're gonna get when you did it. Take your punishment like a man.
Right.
Always deliver the punishment. Even if you're tired and you want to go to sleep, deliver. Don't do it when you're mad. Do it because it's objective and it's cold, calculated, non-personal. You messed up, you catch hell for it. Because in the real world, there's a worse kind of hell you'll get for messing up. When you want him to clean up his room, well, I just do it myself. He's too much trouble. No, you need an OLSD at home. OLSD. Organic labor saving device, also known as a well-trained child. And what you do is you have to train yourself. And when you train it, you don't have time to do something else. You stand there and say, boy, son, this is how men fold their socks. This is how men fold their underwear. This is how men fold their shirts. Son, this is how men arrange their stuff neatly in their drawer. And you show it. Then you take it out and tell him to put it in there. You stand there and watch him put it in. The next time you stand there, watch him put it in. The next time you do that, and then after a while, you step out into the hallway and you walk to the kitchen and you come back and see if he's still working at it. And you stand there until he does it. Then the next time you take a little bit longer, get on and make your phone call, come back and see if he's sitting on the floor or if he's doing it. Sitting on the floor getting that ass.
Yep.
You don't have options. When the adult in the household tells you to do something, you damn and good and damn well do it. You're not paying the rent, so until you get big enough, you can't do anything but what somebody's telling you. See, but we don't do that. So right now, we got more males 30 and over staying with mama than we have girls.
Because they haven't been trained.
They have not been trained as hard. See, if you dig up a fossil skeleton of a human 25, 30,000 years ago during the last ice age, these guys were hunters, and all of them have killed bone breaks. They led a rough life. The female skeletons don't have that. So he's DNA designed to lead a rough life of a hunter. You wanted to eat something for a summer barbecue? You and your homies had to go kill a 3,000-4,000 pound animal with sticks with rocks on the end.
Yes.
You know, and you had to back everybody up because you might get in a tight space and somebody needs to run up covering your six and hit the animal on the other side so you don't get crunched worse than me. So that's why we are brave and courageous.
Right.
The alpha male would fight to be the alpha male, but guess what? When the saber-toothed cat was coming around, he he was between the saber-toothed cat and everybody else. See, we don't get that. We look at it as nice. We don't realize how it got that way. If you want to see, go to the zoo and check out the primate enclosure and see how the baboons and the chimpanzees do. We do the same thing. The alpha males prevail because they're either stronger, faster, or smarter.
Right.
And see, if you're stronger, you can lord it over somebody. But if you're reasonably intelligent, stronger, you get somebody smarter than you that you got as part of your cabinet. And if you're smart, you got somebody stronger than you that's got your back. And if you're all three of them, then you surround yourself with folk that are going to help your program out. So the whole pack is safer, better fed, and breeds more offspring.
Yes.
And we run around, we don't understand it. Yo, man, I'm trying to move Methodologies, man. Why are you poisoning your neighborhood? Why are you raping your neighbor? Why are you robbing your neighbor? Why are you burglarizing your neighbor? Why are you selling poison to your neighbor? Because there's no damn manhood. And we listen to this mantra out here with these crazy feminists who hate the fact that they've got two X chromosomes instead of an XY. And what they want to do is get out there and be men because they hate what they are.
Exactly.
Be proud of what you are, woman. You live longer. You're the ones that, birth the next generation. You're the ones that influence a lot. They want to go around and tell a man what they're going to make him do. That is a fool if it's a woman. And it's a fool if he's a man that stays there and let a woman dictate to him what he's going to do. But you know what a wise woman does?
What?
She understands charm. She charms the savage beast and she tames it. And she can get him to do anything she wants him to do if she'll do it that way. I ain't going to embarrass myself. No, woman, you came with me. So why are you going to try? Use the charm. Ain't nothing wrong with it. You didn't have to listen to these crazy white feminists tell you something wrong with it because they don't really like being a woman.
That's what it is.
Listen. And then you see, I always said this, what is our business? Protecting womanhood and promoting manhood. A wise man is a wise man and so is a wise woman. Men should give guidance and women should give advisement. A wise man will listen to advisement. And a wise woman knows how to give the advisement and when to give it. And as Bill Withers said in that song, my friends keep telling me that you're using me. But if it feels this good getting used, keep on using me till you use me up. And it works. See, instead of putting your hand on the hip, waggling that neck with your head on, look crazy. Wait till you get home, say, baby, that was not cool what you did. But no. And you're not getting any tonight. Tomorrow, do better, but not tonight. But no. See, that works a lot better than yelling and screaming. And if you got a man, give him something. So you don't have to worry about him running around on you.
Right.
I ain't gonna do that. Wear my body out, but it don't get mad if he goes astray. Like an old woman, it was funny. There was a house thing going on, and some young women were all there talking nonsense about this. This old woman said, wait just a minute. And let me tell you something. You little crazy young girl, you ain't got no goddamn sense. Say, you get that man of yours all he can handle and screw his brains out. He ain't got no energy to be screwing somebody else. He ain't got to worry about it. But y'all over here talking about you ain't wearing yourself out. Well, don't wear your mind out. Worrying about where he been when you ain't been where you supposed to be.
Well, I'm sorry, Judge, but I literally have to go and get my two babies from the school. But I just want to say thank you for coming on the show today and sharing with us your wisdom and insight.
I gotta say this briefly. If you want to be a man, you have duty, honor, obligation, responsibility, accountability, dependability. Your job is to support, provide, and protect, even if you die. That's why you get what you get. You're we're supposed to make where you live a better, safer, more secure place filled with economic prosperity, a sense of purpose, morality, and ethics. That's what you do if you want to be a real man.
That's what it's about.
All right, I'm out of here. Take it easy.
Thank you, Judge. Peace.
My pleasure.
Yes, y'all. Sorry, I have to go. But thank you all for watching the show. As always, I ask you, or by the way, this is November 25th, 2019, year of our Lord. As always, live your life of integrity, fight hate, envy, or greed. Brothers and sisters, please, let's try to be kinder to each other. Peace, power, unity, victory, dignity, respect, and liberation. I'm out.